who you are, where you're from, and what you do to start off.
My name is Massi Piffaretti. I'm from Lake Como, Italy, and I'm a professional wakeboarder. So I grew up in Italy, and the wakeboarding scene out there was super cool. You know, like trying to get into that national team was the main goal. Like my cousin was the best wakeboarder in Italy, and I just remember going to school and like he would like miss days to go do this contest outside the country, and I'm like, if I could just do that as well, like I'll be the most happy person in the world. And yeah, thanks to my cousin, like got into the sport, and when I was about 15 years old, I was trying to choose in between wakeboarding and snowboarding, and yeah, I talked to my mom and dad, and they were like, well, if you really want to go to Orlando, we can make it happen, and you can go out there and see how the scene is. And came out here and stayed with Tara and Kobe, and I've been hooked ever since, to be honest. Well, my perception of Orlando was just like, I've always heard, you know, it was the Mecca. I went to a Europeans and I was winning him, and then Mark Kroon came out swinging the year after he went to America, and I'm like, whoa, did he really progress that much, like being there and whatnot? So I was like, I gotta go out there and see how it is. And when I came out here to see how accessible everything is over here, gas being cheap, you know, people can tow boats in whatever lake they want. They can do pretty much anything. So like, I was like, this is the place to be. This is the place where I want to hang out, and the place where I can, you know, get better. The scene was crazy because, like, you know, obviously knowing who the Micker was, and like just to be able to be surrounded by a legend and like, you know, learn from him, it was so big. It was huge. And yeah, I still remember up to this day, like one of my first days there, it was Daniel Watkins' birthday. So we ended up going to Daniel Watkins' house for a party, and like, I used to remember I pulled up, there was like Dean Smith, Adam Arrington, Jimmy LaRich, and like everybody, and I was just like big frothball. And then I actually ended up talking to Adam Arrington, and he's like, well, you gonna ride with Mike? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, you know what? I'm riding with Mike tomorrow morning too, so I'll see you there. So like, I ended up like going to training the next day and kicked it with Adam, and Adam was super cool. And yeah, it was just so rad. And after staying a few months with Kobe and Tara, then I had all my friends from Australia, like Tony and stuff, that I already met at other contests, and they were going to stay with Trevor up in Claremont. So we got a big crew of us, and we all lived together for like 2 years, and like, it was probably like the most, like every day was a progression session. So like, we all go out, everybody was learning new stuff, and like the wake was definitely bigger than Italy, and like, so it was just a lot, and just, we all just wanted to get better and just keep riding and make a good scene out of our friend group.
Pretty rad.
Exactly. Like, you know, wakeboarding is bumping, and, you know, especially downtown Orlando, like where, you know, all our riders are like treated as pretty much legends, you know, and, you know, this is the Mecca for wakeboarding. So to be able to have an event like Double or Nothing here in the center of Orlando, it's like huge. And like, for the first time, it's open to the crowd, and like, that's gonna be a big play because we always like to get the crowd fired up, and like, you know, so having them here this year, it's gonna change the game totally. Believe it or not, this is my very first Double or Nothing. I was out of town the other years that they did it, so like, to be able to be invited and just be even thought of as a rider that I could ride this event, and PB giving me the invite was a dream come true. And to show it off here in Orlando in the Mecca wakeboarding, in front of like the pretty much second hometown crowd, it's all time. And like, you know, we've been inviting all our friends out to try to push the sport, and hopefully we can influence a bunch of people to get on the water. Double ups are very important. Like, I mean, as Park said it, you know, they kind of like changed the game, you know, like everybody just been focusing a lot on doing wake to wake stuff and whatnot. And if you don't have enough air time, all you got to do is hit some double ups, and like, we'll put couple extra feet of air under your feet, and you can really get creative and learn and land some of the craziest tricks ever done on a wakeboard. So it's really pushing the limits of the sport even further. I mean, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm just gonna go out there and do my best, but like, to take the win at an event this prestigious, it would be all time. for real old time, like a dream come true. And you know, grew up watching Parks, Danny, and all the boys ride, and you know, to be friends with them and actually getting to compete in an event with them is already something that I never would have pictured in my life, and so I'm really stoked.
Time at home.
Yeah, usually I try to go home for Christmas because my mom cuts me off otherwise. She's like, if you ain't coming home for Christmas, you better not come home anymore. So like we always like go back for that, for the festivities and stuff, and then usually at like mid-January I come back, and that's where boat show season starts. So try to show my face to a lot of the people that like, you know, look at us as inspirations, and try to get to everybody's town and like, you know, talk about the boards, talk about cool stuff. And then right after that we start getting into like, you know, the training and really start getting ready for the contest season. And like that's always a fun time. Like the spring is always when like me and the homies just like really get after it. And then after that, like all the contests start, so we start traveling all around the world, try to keep it pretty cool, and try to keep riding as much cable as I can as well. Like don't just focus on one thing, just kind of like do everything, because wakeboarding is one sport, and like I feel like, you know, I'm trying to like cover every turf, and yeah, then after we start traveling and stuff, it gets pretty crazy. I try to find like a window and a gap to go back to Italy, because it's pretty important to push the sport out there in my town too, and then do it back over again. And then towards the end of the season, like trying to usually go to like Asia or somewhere to ride cable, and just like kind of cut out the boat stuff out for a little bit, and then start doing it again, you know, in January. Well, you know, what's crazy is like something that I kind of hate about the industry. It's like the lack of opportunity. I feel like, you know, a lot of kids, you know, don't have the financial support to come out to the States and actually try to make it with the big dogs. And I feel like it's my place to really take the sport and like try to make it easier for our kids from my town, from where I grew up, because I was one of those kids that looked up at these people and just really wanted to make it. So like if I could just make life simple for somebody, for some rider that like he's worth, you know, or just trying to make it, like that's my spot. So I wanna try to grow it a lot at home, especially because we got a lot of good riders and cable parts coming up, and you know, a lot of people seem to have an interest for wakeboarding right now. It's kind of like popping for like all these social media, like, you know, little celebrities and stuff that they want to, you know, get a photo on their wakeboard and actually just try sports and stuff like that. So we can do that right now, and especially with COVID and everything, like a lot of people were locked inside homes and stuff. So I feel like they really want to get outside and try something new. A day like today means absolutely everything. I've dreamed about, like, you know, with my best friends, be on the finals together, and like, you know, we all gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, or like, or whatever is gonna be, like, it's gonna be all of us having a good time and just battling it out. And to do it today with my best friend, Ty, Luca, Sam, in a 4-man final, like, it was everything. Like, I dreamed about this day for years, you know? And like, I don't think it's real yet. Like, I haven't like processed the whole thing, but yeah, congrats to the boys. They absolutely killed it. We all try to go in to send and go big, and, you know, do our best trick we can. And I actually got a little lucky, because I was gonna go KGB7, but like I just got lucky. I connected really good with this dub, and like I went to pass the handle, and like I got caught in the rope a little bit, so I was just like, I stopped at F5 and couldn't believe it. It's pretty crazy, you know. I've had a tough go. I've always been trying to focus on, like, you know, I've been trying to explain my family and stuff, and like, cause I'm here doing this, like, you know, pretty much by myself. They know when the events are going, but they don't see too much of what I do outside of events and stuff like that. And I think I've always wanted to do everything. I wanted to ride boat, I wanted to ride cable, I wanted to be at boat show, I want to get to people, I want to do lessons. This is my goal. This is what I live for. When I'm out in the water, or if it's riding or teaching somebody or whatever, like, I'm having the best time and I'm feeling like my day's worth because like I'm pushing and doing something for what I love, and to be able to put this down today, Parks has taught me so much in this game, so much. And he's been like, I grew up watching his video, Danny's video, Ruck's video, all the homies, all the Pointless crew. And like, to be friends with them at this point and like to be able to do it at an event like this with all them, it's just like, today is probably like one of the best days of my life. No doubt, no cap. Yeah, this is, I guess Alliance Rider of the Year was probably the closest thing to this, like to be doing it for like also the people that like support me every day, like that want to see my vision become a reality and help me to like do any crazy project or anything like Red Bull, I'm just super thankful, It's Parks, Red Bull's event, like pretty much the top you can get.
Who do you want to thank?
I just want to thank all my friends, my family. This is something that I've wanted to give back to my family. I know they're all having vinos and drinking beers and like whatever, like they're definitely partying. So like this goes out to my family, my friends, my sponsor, Malibu, Red Bull, Ronix, Ethica, just everybody that put the event on, like thank you so much. Like this is like what we need for wakeboarding, and we witnessed a pretty big crowd today, and I'm sure we got somebody stoked on wakeboarding and they're gonna go try it tomorrow.